Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me. Polina here, talking to you a little bit about the amazing June and what to expect. Okay, so the whole feeling is that you have to be so real and so there for yourself. We have Jupiter conjunct the North Node, even though the North Node is in retrograde. There's a bit of a memory lane. There's not like enough consciousness when it comes to where you are and where you're going and how come things are the way that they are, but there is going to have to be so much brawn, and there's going to have to be so much certainty to some people in terms of their passage in life. I feel that quite a lot of us have to be very, very good to ourselves. We have to consider our finances, we have to consider our health, we have to consider what is the best outcome for yourself. And sometimes your children and your children's children, what is the type of way that you want to lead? And what kind of leadership do you want to have? So to me, Gemini is also kind of like the jester sometimes. And he or she has quite a lot of energy and show and tell to show us and teach us. It's a very teaching sign. The opposite side, of course, is Sagittarius, and it is the sign of the guru, the sage. In a way, Gemini is the lesser sage, or the lesser sure person. So the whole idea basically here is not to get too excited or naive, but there's going to be a lot of teaching during this time. And I believe there's going to be quite a lot of us having to know and having to become certain on some things. And then there's going to be lots of other people that will be unconsciously teaching us something, or holding space unconsciously, or giving us something that we know that we need. Also, it's very easy to be given things that you know that you wanted for a while, or to be taught something about life that you've been missing out on for a while. So the conveyor belt of manifestation is very quick. And it is all kind of about choosing, but I would suggest not just take anything that comes your way. I suggest discernment, being very careful and crafty about who you are, what you're doing, what it means to be you, how far you want to take your life, how deep you want to go into anything. If there's any kind of work you're doing, any kind of friendships you're upholding, what do you really want within that? And also, how hard is the path and how big is the investment? So considering all those different choices and all those different parts of your psyche, it would be very, very easy to make probably the right choice. But I think that a lot of us don't really know what it takes or where we're going at the moment. So it might take a good teacher, or even like a young person sometimes during a rabbit year, Gemini, a young, sensitive, fun-loving person to help you keep your meter and to help you have fun while you are using your timeline differently, while you are discovering what it is really that you want to be a part of, while you're learning on the job. So this is about like taking a step further than you think. And then I think also for a lot of us people, and also a lot of young people or young and hard people, there's going to be quite a lot of negative energy lifted. There's going to be quite a lot of forgiveness and quite a lot of spells basically disintegrated in order to walk into the best and the new. So also this could be an illness or a nervous system disorder that lifts away or has just been lifted recently. There could be a veil that's been over your eyes that's been lifted, or there could be a certainty that basically comes into play center stage during this time, as some of it is about brawn and joy and happiness, and also holiness and purity and cleanliness. And yes, lots of karmic debts have gone, and lots of past old-fashioned sad or scared energies are walking away, and they're going to be replaced by some very good energies, good people, better communities, cleaner living situations, better, more hygienic environments, and just brilliance. So there's going to happen probably for quite a lot of people. There's going to be just a massive upgrade in whatever way is going to happen, and there are going to be probably quite a few of us that don't any longer want that big position in life that we thought we wanted. We'll want something probably a lot smaller but a lot better designed and much better for you. So instead of having these huge meals with potatoes and meat and peas and carrots and everything, you might just want a salad for a while. Or instead of wanting to be in a big city and doing the big job, you might want to pack up your bag and do something very small. So it's also like about upliftment. So quite a lot of this isn't necessarily about making money or making a way forward. It's more just about learning how to use and understand resources better, understanding material things, understanding like different practices that you are a part of, like recognizing the hidden, the small print, you know, like the hidden agendas of other people, also understanding the small print on packets, like say looking at a packet of food and then recognizing what are the different ingredients that are in there. And the eyes and the mental association are very, very quick during this time. Very, very, very good. Mercury is going to eventually be in Gemini, also joining the sun and walking past like all the way into Cancer. So there's going to be quite a lot of discernment, understanding, and recognizing the hidden elements, because Mercury is behind the sun, and also the stellium of North Node and Eris and Chiron and Jupiter and Uranus and Sedna and Vesta are behind the sun. So there's going to be quite a lot of us recognizing and being quite relieved and also forgiving a lot of the past and past habits, and saying like, look, I don't want to do this in a boring old way. I want to do it in an updated, more conscious and more shiny way. And quite a lot of people are wanting upgrades. People are elevating their thought patterns. They are looking for much younger and much happier and more happening places to be. They're looking for brand new design. They're looking for a brand new way of being oneself. They're looking for different types of whereabouts. People are more interested in things that are upcoming and fresh and fun, and like a sports car, you know, that can drive really fast. Like, they're interested in things that are modern, and maybe there is a new innovative look at how life is, and maybe there is already, as we've passed Uranus, a nicer, calmer and more special and spacious place to be. Maybe people are using better fibers in their clothing, better design, more ergonomic wear, more ergonomic homes. Maybe people have parted ways. Sorry, people have parted ways with the old, burdensome, sad, derogatory, slow, mean, and dense energies. And yeah, we have to also understand it's almost like husk from the grain, or the oil and water separating. It's like the cream rising to the top. Some people don't want to be around anything boring, badly designed, derogatory, also unhealthy and sticky. And this could be for many reasons, like, can't be in my house anymore because it's too moldy. Or for example, I can't be with my friends anymore because they're too tired, or I can't be in this group anymore because it's too relevant, or it's too peculiar. And also, yeah, like it is judgmental. Gemini is one of the most judgmental signs. It is judgmental, but it's also very new, and it's also very brisk, and it's trying to help us grow. And then there is also an elusive element to all this, and there could be a lot of lies in the air, and I keep on talking about that aspect of Rabbit. And we also have Mars conjunct Lilith there in Leo, and eventually Venus going into Leo quite early on in this month. So we have quite a lot of maybe racist remarks. We have quite a lot of scary energies. We have quite a lot of people being very repetitive about what they do and do not want around. There's like a certain type of crude tribalism, and there could be also lack of innocence and sincerity in some people's lives. I would trust trying to be light on your feet. This is about probably like a sporty way that you're seeing life. It's an up and go kind of life. It's very, very nice to just have your bag packed, ready to go, ready to bounce. So you're not one of those people pushing a broom around or trying to make sure that other people see you and notice you. It's not one of those times to play out those family stories, as is just not going to give you any time. Basically, this is not about mommy, why did you say that, or daddy, why did you not love me. I think that these stories can happen between anybody. Sometimes even like people go to a cafe and they play out these stories with the staff, so like these, she didn't call me back, or like, they don't like me around here, all of these dramatic stories are absolutely outdated, and they are maybe very nervous for some people that have been holding a grudge or holding jealousy or holding disrespect for other people, and also for the elders in their community, holding somebody responsible for their own deeds. So like basically all that drudgery, all that old fashioned stuff, we have to basically cook this up really quick. There are certain methods of working very fast. Maybe you design an item overnight, or maybe you get to know somebody and you go dancing with them, you go have fun, and already by week 2 you are pretty much married, you're pretty much together. It's a very bouncy, very happy, very happening time. It's very good for philosophies. It's really good for knowledge. It's also very good for exactness and being very stern and strong and deep, and kind of also surrendered to life. So people can manifest realities very quickly. They can meet each other very fast. They can fall in love very fast. They can decide that somebody's family like over a couple of days, or they can be with somebody very, very quickly after just recognizing that that person could be good for them. So it's a very fast gelling and cohesive time in terms of relationships and partnerships and friendships, and also business deals. But it's kind of it's not badly made, it's just very quickly made. So I have this thing recently. I've been making clothes for myself. I've just been stitching clothes with no sewing machine, just by hand. And it's amazing. It just like blew my mind. Like last week, I've made a couple of bags just overnight, and they're like my favorite items now in my whole set of things. It's like it really changed the way that I think about fashion, the way that I think about myself and my stuff. So maybe there is a lighter, more ergonomic, quick, and exclusive way that you can do things that usually take ages. So if you're a design student, Rabbit Ear is fantastic for designers. If you are like innovating, if you are making food, if you are finding new ways, if you're learning how to do something, if you're playing a sport, it could be a very quick and magnificent way that things work out. So before it would have taken you a couple of weeks to do something, now it could actually take you half a day. So also a lot of shortcuts are seen. People are hopping on board. People are tired of doing things the long way. They want to do things a quick way, or they're going to be quite a lot of us maybe even corrupted by the idea of doing things overnight instead of doing it over a few days. So also people could be skipping process, and that's something that you need to see here. So maybe people are a little bit shallow in their pursuits, and also it's very much about using certain people. It's a time where you will be seen as somebody who uses people if you use people. And also, if you've had somebody use you or somebody take advantage of you in any way, it might be like, hey, stop that. So also in terms of parasites and different bacteria and infestations, it is much easier for a certain type of person, a certain type of energy to see it when it's happening. It's like, wait, I've got this, I've got a rash, or wait, I have like digestive disorders, so things can get caught out. If you have an elusive illness that is traveling through your body that's not been diagnosed very well, maybe a certain doctor or a practitioner might be able to fish it out faster than they were able to before. So maybe give things another chance. And also it's very easy to see things clearly and to catch out the different details and the different words, and to understand, hey, wait, that person's lying to me. Or like, wait a minute, like I've been taken for a ride here. So the worst case scenario, I think, is people sticking back, sticking around, and they're using these ancient family narratives to make them stay. It's like, well, I know, like, I'm not really that interested, but, like, but this is family to me. Or like, I've met these people 4 years ago and I can't leave because they're like family to me. Or I have to be nice, I have to be humble. So people are closing their eyes, and they're allowing other people's worlds, other people's ideas, or just other people just to basically make them or subdue them into something or somebody seemingly better. It's like, well, if I was really kind, I would just allow this person to do this. Well, if I was caring, I would just allow it. And I think there are quite a lot of people asking, where's my morality? What kind of character do I have? And quite a lot of indoctrination is very easily seen right now. So this could be religious, spiritual dogma. This could be just the way that you were raised in the house. And this all starting to become really unbearable, and we cannot listen to it anymore. So a person that just won't be in a group and won't be in a company, or they will naturally be kind of cornered or just left alone, might be a person that has very old-fashioned anything, old-fashioned clothes, old-fashioned thinking patterns, old-fashioned ancient designs, old-fashioned rhetorics, and sometimes people won't be there for that person, but they will come back to them eventually when things are done. So they won't be on the team, but they will be addressed at the end of the day. Like somebody will come to their house and be like, hey, we had a great day and we did a lot and we achieved a lot. I just want to tell you, like, pat on the back, like, that you're welcome, you're invited. So like being that person is very, very hard, and this could happen at any age. It's not just about being an elder in society. It's just about being a human that basically doesn't get it, just doesn't get it. Like everybody is getting on, everybody is making friends, everybody's going super modern and super sleek, everybody's having fun, and then there's this one person's like, oh, why me? My life is so boring. And then that person might not get a chance, but they're not necessarily fully excluded from the group. They will still sit at the family table, they still have fun with other people eventually. But if you've been backbenched, meaning like if people putting you back, like, I don't want this person on the team, or nah, I don't want to hang out with her, or oh God. Also, like if you are somebody very, very clear and very conscious, and you're understanding the value and the fruits of your time. Jupiter next to North Node is about revaluing things. It's like, I am not putting up with this, or I am not spending my time or money this way. It's a very, very stern personality that sometimes takes place or takes center stage during this time. I'm not doing this again. My gosh, or the amount of money or the amount of time I've wasted here, like that kind of feeling. If you really know the full value, like if you know the value of your time, the value of your attention, the value of your innocence, like the value of your presence, the value of your money, the value of any resource, anything, the value of your soul, also the value, you might not have any idea what is going on. I'm experiencing that already. Your feet just start walking faster and faster. You're like, heck no, heck no. It's like somebody comes up to you, wants to talk about their deep and meaningful. So you're like, no, no way, no way. I have to paddle my way out of this. So that's really mean sometimes. And that's the other side of Gemini, sometimes argumentative or kind of like selfish side. That's not really meant to be that bad a thing. It's just like some people don't care about it for such a long time, and then it sort of comes to this like, oh no, I made a bad choice. I've been doing the bad thing. I've been wasting my time. I've been wasting my life on this. Like say I've been wasting my life on these people, or I've been committing to things that completely don't matter to me today. So like this oh no feeling is not something that Gemini can necessarily take away. But what I can say is be good to these people. Like right now, maybe some people are having a really bad time understanding that their karma has accumulated and their energy is low. And for example, they've spent so much time with somebody who's never been that good to them, or they've been investing in something or somebody that has not given them anything back. So like that's really harsh. That's really harsh. Like say also for me to understand certain things in my life today. It's difficult, and it's also like dangerous to play a little game with these people. So like if a person's going through a dark night of the soul, or they've got this evolutionary way that they're expanding and they're becoming this big, strong, fearless person, they're just gonna say it like it is, and they're going to just be who they are now, like that, I would trust, get out of their way basically, and try not to picture that person. And this could also be like happening not necessarily with the younger people, could be happening with people way older, like in their 60s. Like, for example, if your mother or if your grandmother even is having a really bad day and grisly and grunty and like, what the heck has been in my life? What the heck have I been surrounded by? Or what the heck has my life become? The idea basically is not to make them the scapegoat for other people's problems, because it's going to be very, very bad, and it's just very mean to do. Like, if a person's had a realization, for example, they've been taken for granted, or somebody's taken the mickey out of them, as they say, or they've been paying a debt that they didn't have to pay, or they've been living in a place where they shouldn't have been, or they had children with a person that eventually disintegrated the relationship, or like there's a regret. And the thing here is to have compassion and not to laugh at them and not to make these people mean or rude. Like, how dare you say that, you know, for example, Jesus Christ or Buddha says this or Confucius says this. You can't say that. The thing is to let people wail. Wail meaning like having a cry. The good thing about this is to understand that we sometimes do not know the meaning of things and the value of things. Some of life is very automatic for some of us. And sometimes it is just so important to have a big naive cry and to say, why me? Don't bother me. Like, I want to have a big yell. And sometimes this person can actually, unfortunately maybe, but very kindly teach people or understand them. So like in the process of anger and fright and fear and tears, there are certain people that wake up and they say some really important things, and maybe it's nice to take them somewhere or to listen or to hear them out for a minute, especially if it's an elder that's breaking down. It's like, I can't believe I've spent my life paying this mortgage, and then in this place I don't even want to be. Like, you know, all of these things we have to understand and we have to take care of them. So quite a lot of like the baby boomers and the later generations would have a big crisis, and I feel that they're probably timed to experience this big question mark as to what is the meaning of all this, or why do I even bother, or how come I'm still in this place. So anything old-fashioned is going to have a crisis. And there's lots of people questioning things like marriages and jobs and involvements and monetary things, but we have to be only connected to ourselves. Now, this is hard. Gemini is really speckly and sparkly, and it wants every single person to involve or invest their time. And sometimes on the friendly and more casual note, it's really nice. It's great to be asked for advice. It's also great to ask other people for advice. It's a wonderful time to get to know other people and certain things in life. But then I'm also feeling that some people might feel very abandoned and depressed if they are walking with very negative or very distant people, or people that are just at the tip of crisis, or just looking at their life and going, wow, what the hell is going on? Like this kind of disjointed feeling. Well, this is hard if people are not padded also, like say they go to like move house but they don't have anywhere to be, or like say they spend all their money and now they don't have enough to balance them out, or you know, they've had a breakup with their partner and they didn't really want to break up, and then now they've got nobody to bring them mental or emotional support. You know, get out of the way basically. Yeah, in some cases it's just like, don't participate, just go yourself into the direction that you want to go in. And that would be very smart for some people, and for some other people it's like there's quite a lot of angst and there's quite a lot of volatility. There is an explosive side of Gemini always. It's a combustible energy. But then there's also like this other like sense of feeling, or sense of pain or shame or vulnerability that could also be beneficial to some people. You know, it's actually very beneficial to feel that shadow of Gemini, because Gemini is light and dark, you know. And to give it thanks and give it hope. It's like, yeah, well, I really need to screw my head on better. You know, I really need to understand my life better. I really need to understand where I'm becoming, where I'm not becoming, and also where I'm thinking, where I'm not thinking, and where things in my life are non-conclusive, and also where they always have have been. So it's about setting things up, it's about setting things straight, it's about boundaries. Quite a lot of it is about like meaningful, crisp results without any emotional or dogmatic stuff. We'll walk into a lot of dogma and emotions by the end of maybe, like, honestly, like Cancer, no, like Virgo, and Virgo is going to be a lot of dogma and a lot of fine print coming up again in a different way. But like, this is it. Like, basically, just say it, set it up straight. The senses know. It's like you have just this inner voice that says no thanks, but no thanks. And to some people, it looks like it's lacking empathy, or it's lacking some kind of justice or maturity. I would trust, like, I'm serious about this. I would trust going with the fresh and the knowing, but also like allowing that knowing, angry, sad shadow, like, to teach you something as well, because there's always going to be that in this time of the year, in the IC section. There's going to be some regrets and some like follow backs from the past. There is a way that each person is individually experiencing many more things that they can than they can say. Multiplicity, multitude is also part of Gemini. During this time, things are not easy to explain or express. It's like there's so many things happening in my life right now. I could probably not word myself correctly if I try to express them. And it's not very like difficult to solve it if you sit with your own things yourself. So if you look at your puzzle and you solve it, maybe ask a friend or two, but like concentrate on you basically, because I think that through concentration on who you are, you're going to produce some real gems. So you're going to become a lot more knowledgeable and a lot more maybe psychic, or a lot more gentle with yourself and your life, and you're probably going to fish out some pretty awesome opportunities and options and see life clearly. Sometimes it is about calmness and connection, though quite a lot of people just want to take themselves over somewhere and be known and wear that beautiful dress or enjoy the day. Some people just really enjoy the gossip. It's not about the gossip. Even the hard times of others, I'm actually seeing quite a lot of people are, yeah, I'm seeing this a lot. Happy, it's not about happy. Morbidly curious about something bad happening for somebody else, or curious when somebody else is having a bad day. And maybe then notice this personality trait. This is the shittiest personality trait that I found in like 4 of my friends this month. It's like I actually never ever have asked for anything. And when I said, hey, like I'm actually having some trouble, they were a weight on me. So they just had a little laugh about what happened to me last few days, or last couple of months. And I've noticed that that was really, it's not that it's mean, it's just, it was really nice that they also did that, because now I know these people need to be as far away from me as possible. So like when you are laughing at somebody else's pain or shame, or even if there is an aspect of you growing, this is a primal aspect, wanting to see something bad happen to somebody else. They're like channels, like YouTube channels, video channels, where people enjoy watching other people fall over, make fools of themselves. They love to see somebody else's struggle. Sometimes there is a weird way that people laugh at things, like, say, they could be laughing at the war. They could be laughing at somebody's pain. They could be laughing at somebody's mishap. When you are that person, who are you? Who are you? Wow. So we have to understand where we are as people, as a species. It's not just about not having empathy, it's actually having fun at the expense of another person. Also, like, consider, like, say, in the medieval times, they used to have live executions in front of like a roaring crowd. So they used to hang people, criminals, in front of a crowd, and people used to love it. People used to love watching somebody's pain, or like an extreme event such as a beheading. So why I'm bringing this up is because we have to also notice if you have quite a few friends that are just loving when you do something wrong, or they have been waiting to see you cry. Now that's where that person has to go in the bin. You put them in the bin straight away. If a person is just, I'm telling you, especially for really vulnerable people, if you've been investing, say been like making dinners and going to places and listening to this person, you've been investing in something that wants you to face a demise. There's another hidden side of Gemini as well. You've been like, say, walking with a person that all along wanted to use you for money, for example, or that all along had a really great time and they told all their friends and they had a big laugh when you, for example, had a breakup or you had a fall. That's when we need to leave. Like, so notice also if there's certain organizations, there's certain groups of people, I don't know, any path where you are, in a sense, not loved, not just not loved, you're not wanted or you're not willed for, or you are used as a kind of a clown or like a grotesque personality. And also sometimes people walk into these situations where they are in a never-ending loop. For example, you might have a friend who is a big talker and you're always a listener, and the minute you actually start talking, that person shuts you down, slams you down. I've had that happen like most of my life. It's interesting. It's like if you've been also taught or groomed to consume another person's information or energy, and you've been kind of like a quiet, kindly person, but you're not actually realizing that that's not necessarily against your will or your nature, but it's just not good enough for you or for that person. Also, if you have been like consuming another person's light and not caring about them, so like they're talking at you and you completely don't care, and you even roll your eyes, you close your eyes, your face makes all these expressions. That's not who maybe you are, but that's maybe how your relationship or your karma is playing out. So I would be very exact on the results that you want in your life. I would get out of anything malicious this time. I would have the finger on the pulse in terms of being used, and also like people borrowing money from you, not giving it back. Also any kind of presence or personality that wants to kind of heal you through injustice, like they're putting dogma on you, while like eating you and not giving you anything back. Also any kind of person that is just confusing, like say you make a date with this person, they don't show up, they message you like half an hour later like, sorry, something came up. Being used, being treated vulnerably, or just like things that are not fair, basically. I would definitely rule these things out. And then by the beginning of Cancer, we're going to go through the solstice. By the beginning of Cancer, I'm going to do another video for the solstice also, yes. There's going to be a very nice, simple life within which there is no clingers on, there is no parasites, there's no murmur in the heart, like, oh, I don't know what this person thinks of me, or should I really go to their birthday party? Like nothing like that. Or do you think I should, like, I don't know, like clean the house? Do you think I should rearrange the blankets? Or do you think I should like cook a meal for everybody? Should I be nice? Like all of that uncertainty is going to go. So like also in terms of slavery, being kind of like a second-class citizen, being not normal for somebody, having somebody like screw their face up like for anything you're doing or saying, like, and constantly treating you like that, like all of this kind of stuff is going to have to come out of yourself. So you have to face it. And yeah, quite a lot of people also have certain, it's not just genetics, it's not relationships with themselves. Sometimes people have certain bacteria, like for example, Candida is one of those really bad things, like that lives in the stomach. Candida lives in the guts. Yeah, like it's not just, you know, in certain places, it actually lives all over the body. Sometimes people have been used to a certain type of bacterial or like fungal growth, a yeast overgrowth in their body, and they don't notice that they've also become kind of like a yeast themselves, and they kind of like sit with people and they kind of hear them, but they don't want to be there, or they kind of like venture places they don't necessarily like or need to participate in. So a lot of this like negotiation with other people, like, oh, I don't know, should I come around or nah, or like, what do you think of me? Like all of this like lowly, it's not really lowly, it's just kind of like neglectful or unnecessary ventures with people, being nobody to somebody, but them being the world to you. All of this stuff needs to start to be put into perspective. And yes, also in terms of some people, I don't think this is the best time to have a cleanse. because Gemini is a very powerful, bouncy and pointy time, I think that some people won't be available to take advantage of these raw, hardcore, classic, vibrant energies unless they clean their body. So like there are lots of times where you are dependent on having like a lightweight suitcase or like a lightweight body or like a lot of natural joy and a lot of natural stamina. And if you have been overgrowing with things that you don't need, or you've been overgrowing with people you don't like, or if you've had a certain type of chemical imbalance in your mind, maybe because of your gut or because of your body and how it's feeling, nothing. It's a rare disease that happens directly in the brain. You know, people don't think about it. It's not about like mental disorders or nervous system disorders. There are sometimes things that happen prior to that, and usually it is to do with the microbiome, the gut, you know, and the heart eventually. And then after the heart is feeling enough palpitations and sensitivities, it goes into the mind, and we think it's I'm losing my mind. It's not you losing your mind. It's the whole body is not balanced. So basically, if you really need some juice, and if you've noticed that you don't have any energy, or you are stuck between a rock and a hard place during some of the most bounciest and pointiest and zingiest times, which is Gemini rabbit year. It's so like high vibrational. If you're noticing that you don't have it in you to participate in certain things, if you can't enjoy yourself and there is nobody or nothing that you like, and you can't feel anything, you can't generate those feelings, then you would probably need a detox. So emergency detoxes, my gosh, like salt water, like say 2 tablespoons of salt to 2 liters of water. That's very dark. That's not necessary. Like during this time is going to strip a lot of your microbiome. But that is how I've done it before with great success. Force treating your body. So, for example, having a big parasite purge with clove wormwood and black walnut shell. You know, having some kind of like extreme change. Sachi Hergon has been nice for me, but you got to prepare your body for that. It's not just something you do like, you know, if you haven't prepared your body for that. You know, something. I know some people that put hydrogen, like a drop of hydrogen peroxide in their water and drink that. My mother's been doing that for like decades. There are all these different ways. I mean, trying to put the zest into your body, like, okay, great, chia, like acai, you know, maca, something to just put that vibration into the body. If your body cannot produce natural optimism, then there's going to be something snickering underneath. Oh yeah, sure, yeah, I get it, yeah, yeah, yeah. That thing there, that is not naturally happy, and then like all of those negative powers come into play. That's not very nice. And also people that enjoy sometimes the failure of other people have a lot of pain and vulnerability inside themselves. It's a long conversation. So I've already done like a little audio on that on my Patreon page, talking about how to bring that zaniness out, or how to bring that power out to benefit from such a time. Also, we are going through summer, and solstice is the peak in the northern hemisphere. And if you are in the peak of the year and you're feeling sad and depressed, and yeah, I've done the work and I got nothing and I didn't get paid, and you know, like nothing helps me, or nobody's on my side, like that's really hard. This is like the spectacle. Gemini is the spectacle. It's the spectacle. It's the most clearest sky. It's the most beautiful holding of hands. It's the big hugs. It's the epic philosophies. It's the nurture. It's fashion. It's life. It's hugs. It's feelings. It's friendships. It's so much love and care, you know, during this time. But if we are not prepared for it, it is hard, it is dark. If we don't like that, it's hard, it's dark. If you don't naturally like positivity or optimism, if you don't simply enjoy having healthy, wonderful, bright people around you. If you don't like nature, if you don't like health, if you don't like who you are, if you're not very optimistic, it's going to be a difficult ride. So trying to get that chemical up here, trying to get friendly with yourself. Sometimes it starts from the gut and it works from the body out. It's not like, oh, like Confucius says, or like, I don't know, this guy gave me this tip for life. A lot of, I suppose, people that would be interested in astrology are interested in other people's philosophy. Sometimes it's inside you, it's inside your body where the energy comes from. It's not like, oh yeah, this guy told me, like, or like I heard Esther Hicks say this or that. It's not like this. It has not got a place unless it is organic, and it's maybe many things have to happen inside of you to be able to achieve those results on the outside, because yeah, that's how gems are formed, like inside the mountains, the caves. That's where gems come from. It's like pressure and certain recognition, and yeah, diamonds on the inside, yeah, that famous song. Anyway, thank you very much, you guys. Have a look at the links below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.